In this lesson, we're going to go over some advanced editing and formatting that you can do in InDesign. Of course, you can always see what the final product should look like once you finish the design, but make sure you've downloaded the Lesson 7 files from the class page. When you're ready, double-click on the 07 Start InDesign file, and before we do anything, we're going to change the name of it. So let's go up to File and down to Save, and let's rename it 07 Text. Keeping it as an InDesign file, and click Save. Since I'm in preview mode, I'm going to go up to View, down to Screen Performance, and choose Normal. And since we're editing text, do make sure to go up to Type and make sure that you can show your hidden characters down here. We want to be able to see the ends of our paragraphs so that we know exactly where everything is at. Of course, the easiest way to edit text is you need to have your Type tool, and you can go down to any text that you want, click inside of it, and let's get rid of the ing right after the word protecting. Also, while we're here, let's place some text inside of our right side. So we'll go to File, down to Place, locate the 07 Gardening document, and click Open to place everything inside of here. Now, if you do get a font warning when you import your text, make sure to just say skip or ignore it. We're going to change that out in just a minute. To quickly reformat everything, I'm going to do Command A to select all of the text. Let's go up to our Properties panel. Inside of the paragraph styles, we can open it up. We can change everything to a body paragraph for here. Then we can select this first paragraph and change it to be the first body paragraph, which will give it the drop cap. With this done, I can use my selection tool, and you can see when we place the text inside of here that it's got some overset text. We're going to correct this by editing the text and reformatting it so that it'll fit in the end. Let's do a find and change to change out some of the words that are inside of our story. I'm going to center it up so I can center it a little bit better. Let's grab our Type tool and click inside of the story anywhere so that we got it selected. To open up the Find and Change, go to Edit, down to Find and Change, or you can do Command F to open up that ability. Now inside of here, remember we can find a variety of different things up here at the top, including objects, colors, and text is what we want to be able to search for. In the Find What, type bird. We're going to be moving forward from here. In Change To, choose Blackbird. Make sure we're searching the entire story. And then finally down here, this gives you the ability to search for specific things, including case sensitive, so whether it's uppercase or lowercase, or whether it's searching for the entire word or just part of the word. Make sure both of these are not selected. Once we're done, we can hit Find Next. You can see how it highlights the word bird there. And then we're going to do Change All. It'll find 4 replacements. And you can see how it's changed the word birds to blackbirds. Keep this open because we're going to do a couple of other little find and changes. Now let's do a find and change to change the formatting of a word. Inside of our little story, there's some little tips that we want to be able to call out. Right now, it just looks like a regular word that's get lost in the entire story. So let's make it uppercase and completely bold. In the Find What, we're going to type in tip. In the Change To, type tip all capitalized, T-I-P. Also, let's include the colon at the end of those. So tip, colon, and then capital tip, colon. This time, let's make sure it's case sensitive, so it only changes the entire word itself at the beginning of a line. Next, under the Change Formatting, we want to open this up, and we want to look for some specific kinds of characters to change it to. In the basic character formats, let's choose Minion Pro. There it is there, that'll work. And make sure the font style is bold. If you don't have Minion Pro, choose any other sans serif type that can show up really easily. Next, let's go to the character's color. And from here, let's choose the color Purple Cool. Once we're done, we'll say OK. you can hit Find Next. You can see how it's going to highlight it. And when you do Change All, we'll say OK to this. You can deselect everything. I'll hit Done. And you can see how this has changed every instance of the word tip to a capital tip that's now colored purple. Now, if we wanted to check the spelling of this entire document, do make sure that your cursor is at the beginning of your document that you're starting with. You can go up to Edit, down to Spelling, and choose Check Spelling, or Command-I is the keyboard shortcut. InDesign has a built-in dictionary of common words that it's going to go through and try to look for. Automatically, it's going to find words that it doesn't recognize in its own dictionary. So let's step through and either make changes or not make changes. Do make sure that you're looking through the entire story and that your direction is moving forward. For cotton, you can see how it's selected, and it's going to give you a list of suggestions to change it to. So let's choose the correct cotton here, and we can click Change. For garden, or gardener, it's been misspelled, we can type this one since it's not showing up down here. So Gardener. Since that's not in there, we can do Change. For soup, this is a specific word, so we're going to tell it to ignore all of these. For for poise, we can ignore all of those. For orzo, there it is. Now we can add this one to the dictionary since this one doesn't appear. We'll click Add. And for the rest of these, we can tell it to ignore all since those are some specific names for this one. Once it reaches the end, you can see that none of these are going to be selected, so we can say Done. Now, if you are working on a document that's got some very specific words to it, it is helpful to add words to your document-specific library. You can activate this by going back up to Edit, down to Spelling, and let's open up the User Dictionary. From here, make sure the User Dictionary is selected, and then we can add the word Pancetta to the word field. From here, you can click Add, and now you can see pancetta and orzo are both added to here as well. Once we're done, we can hit Done. A final way InDesign can correct the spelling of a word is by doing it automatically as you spell it. To turn this on, you need to go to InDesign's Preferences, and if you're on a Mac, it's in the InDesign Preferences drop-down. If you're on a Windows, you can go to Edit and open your preferences. But from here, open the Preferences and go to Auto Correct. Let's enable Auto Correct. You can see all of the words that are automatically here. And let's add the commonly misspelled word gardener. For the misspelled word, it'll be Gardner, and the correction version will be Gardener. We can say OK, and it'll be added to our list. And now we can say OK to not make that mistake ever again. If you wanted to test it out, you can use your type tool, click anywhere in here, and I'm going to try to type the word Gardner. When I press space, you can see how it automatically changes it from there. Since that was just a test, I want to delete it away. Since it's been a while, let's go up to File and down to save our document. Another handy feature in the Preferences is the ability to drag and drop your text. One more time, open your InDesign Preferences and locate the Type Preferences. We want to enable drag and drop editing, so click this on. Also, you can enable it in the Story Editor too. Say OK. Let's go over to our left side page. Let's scroll down so I can see this words down here at the very bottom. I'm going to grab my type tool, and we want to highlight the word low calorie. We want to place this low calorie, and I'm even going to get the comma and the space after it, before the word vitamin. So with it selected, I'm going to drag and then let go of my mouse and drop it right there before. We'll zoom out. Let's go back up to View, and let's view the entire spread. Fit this to spread. We still haven't corrected the overset text. A final way you can edit your InDesign document very dynamically is using the story editor. This can be found under Edit, down to Edit in Story Editor. The story editor shows all of the text that inside of the story that you're working in. Now we need to select the area that we want to be able to affect. So I'm going to click on this paragraph for following crops. Let's edit our story editor one more time. Edit, Edit in Story Editor. Here it is here. And this is just kind of a plain text document that'll open up automatically. You can see the entire text that's selected, and you can even see what type of style is applied to it. I'm going to scroll down to the very bottom so we can see these last couple of paragraphs that are inside of here. You can see that we're on the paragraph for following crops. And if I scroll down, you can see the red indicates any overset text that's not visible. So you can see how much we need to get rid of in order to make it visible past this line. So in order to do this, let's go back up to our following crops paragraph, and let's select if the peas will have, this last little sentence all the way down, but we'll keep the little paragraph return unselected. We can delete this away. And again, make sure to keep that last little paragraph return, and you can see how it automatically also updates the text inside of here too. The story editor also gives you the ability to track any changes that you make. This comes in handy whenever you work with another editor and they may need to make approving remarks on whatever you do. To turn on tracking changes, go to Type, down to Track Changes, and enable Track Changes in the current story. From here, let's make some changes to it. Locate the third body paragraph from the bottom where it starts with recipes, and we'll use our Type tool. Oops, excuse me. There we go. Use our Type tool. We want to change 7 layer for the salad that's here to balsamic pea. And click space. You can see when we start to make these changes, it'll highlight them and show what change is being made. Now, of course, if you are making a change and working with someone else, you may want to give them a little note of why you made that change. So to leave a note, use the Note tool. We can click right after it, and let's leave a little inline note. We were unable, oops, let's make sure we spell that, were unable to acquire the 7-layer salad recipe. Good enough. Since this is a note and we've typed it inline here, it won't show up on the actual text. Instead, you can see how it gives a little indicator that there is a note of why that change was made. Now, since we've made these changes and we can pass it off to an editor, they can either approve or reject any of these changes as well too. If they need to change or make improvements of it, they can go back up to Type, down to Track Changes, and then from here you can see where they either accept or reject any changes that are on this as well. Let's do accept all changes in this story. And are you sure? We'll say OK, and then they're committed to those changes from there. Once we're finished, we can close out our little text editor. And this is the last thing that we're done. So we'll go to File and Save, and let's go to preview this in preview mode. There we go there. Make sure to upload the InDesign document to the class page.